Hello fishies, and welcome back to another story time. I hope you slept well last night. I hope you're ready for some more reading. Hello RQ Wolf, it's good to see you. Congratulations on being first in chat. Hello Father Size, hello Northern Light, hello Dova and Dova too. Hello Lucal, happy someday to you. It is good to see you. I hope all my fishies are doing wonderful today. And I hope you are ready for some more Drown the Stars. We will be resuming today at chapter 14, or 13. Is it chapter 13? I could be a silly goose. Hope it's all been well with you. Other than the lack of sleep, everything is doing fantastically. Thank you. I appreciate you. Let us see. We have a finished puzzle, so I shall give you some more. Here's another puzzle for my dearest fishies. Привет, как дела? Хорошо. Ты? Ты говоришь по-английски, пожалуйста? Я знаю немного по-русски. English is preferred. Lack of sleep in the same boat. We are all just living the same lives, just in various different ways and forms, are we not? I hope you are all ready for this, not only this next chapter, but we will be starting the third part to this book as well. So, my sweetest fishies, are you ready to, I guess I should respectfully wait a couple more seconds for the ad to finish? Welcome to our TikTok viewers. Thank you so much for joining and thank you for watching. I appreciate you. And I hope you are also having a wonderful night, a wonderful evening. We are reading Drown the Stars today. Drown the Stars is a sci-fi alien soap opera. It's very dramatic. It's got action. It's got a little provocation. It's got intrigue. We have some trauma, we have violence, there's some gore, but we also have character arc in ways you would not expect. This book does take place over the course of several years, and we are going to pick up at chapter 14, 7 years, 5 months, 1 week, and 1 day post Wokmaw. If you do not know what Wokmaw is, Wokmaw was a war, or Wokmaw is a planet at which there is constantly territory battles and war happening against the Sar, and the Sar are a rather primitive but very strong alien enemy at which they are all on tentacles, and they only need to capture someone to use as a host, and they use that host's information in order to fight back against their enemies. So, our main character here was at Wokmaw, and albeit while they were at Wokmaw, what good did it do them that they managed to cause enough devastation that they left Wokmaw alive? And albeit they are a coward, they were knighted, and now they live a life of luxury under and behind the royal crown as the tutor of the prince and the royal children, the caretaker of the royal children, and most unfortunately in the past chapter, the eldest daughter was murdered, was assassinated, claimed to be the action of an unknown killer who nearly killed the king and somehow managed to kill the entire staff of the king. And yet, our main character was standing outside the door when she heard the king kill all of them. So welcome to the continued live narration of Drown the Stars. I hope you are buckled up and ready to continue listening to this story. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope you do enjoy. I will be recording these narrations, so I will not be able to address every single person that comes into the comments, into the chat, but I do hope that you help me out and let other viewers know that we are reading Drown the Stars, a sci-fi soap opera. And Yuki, thank you so much for the gift. Thank you. What would you do if someone sent a TikTok universe? Well, by golly, I don't know what that is, but I would thank them. I would be very grateful for any gifts given on any platform, no matter where you are, no matter who you are. I appreciate you being here nonetheless, gifts or not. You are appreciated. As I continue to read, I will be making mistakes, and as I will note for myself in the recording, I will be editing those out. However, I do encourage you to be kind. I know that that might be hard for some people, but please be kind and be patient with me. Believe me, I am beating myself up on the inside. Put a 1 in chat if you are ready for me to read. And I do love to see chat interaction, whether I am reading chat or not. I do encourage you to interact and talk with each other. Exclaim your love for the story, the characters. Make predictions about what is going to happen. Ash is ready to read, and Northern Light is ready to read. Do we have anybody interested in the puzzle? The puzzle is up. If you are interested in solving a puzzle while you listen to me read, I highly encourage you to join. If you are watching on TikTok or on YouTube, the puzzle will be in the link in my bio. You do have to look for it. If you want to buy the book because you are enjoying it so thoroughly, there will also be a link there. Highly encourage that. You will get a signed copy of this book for, I don't even remember how much I paid. Hello, Anxiety, and welcome to the live stream. Watercat, welcome. Dova, welcome. I will go on and read. Omni Guardian, thank you so much for the gift. Thank you. Chapter 14. 7 years, 5 months, 1 week, and 1 day post Wokmaw. Rakva didn't want to celebrate. Swallowing, he stared in the mirror and tried not to feel sick. They hadn't bothered to get him a new coat for the ceremony, so he wore Zalen's instead. The sleeves were a little bit big on him, but the waist pinched more than it should have. The coat draped on the floor behind him like a train, and the space between the gloves and the ends of his fingers was too big. A knock sounded at the door, and he jumped, scrambling for anything he could use as a weapon. It slid open before he could get anything in his hands, but it revealed Vaine, not an assassin. "Sir Vaine," Rakva said slowly. Vaine offered a weak smile, Technically, I'm still your caretaker, so I get to make sure you're ready. She held a mantle in her hands, woven with gold and silver. A lump too thick to swallow formed behind Rakva's gills, and he stared at the ground. He'd always wanted to wear it. How stupid he'd been. "Thank you," he said softly. Vaine gently draped the mantle over his shoulders, and he let her. Though it was nearly identical to the one he'd worn every day for most of his life, it felt much, much heavier. "How are you doing?" Vaine asked, adjusting the mantle. "It doesn't feel real," Rakva whispered. "I don't feel ready." "I know. I never dreamed you'd need to be prepared for this." Vaine reached into her coat pocket and procured a silver pin, which she secured to the mantle on his left shoulder. "What do I do?" "What do I do?" Rakva asked. Vaine tightened her lips, and she sat on the floor, gesturing for him to do so as well. "I don't know what the future looks like going forward, or how much time your parents will let me spend with you," he said. She said, "But I need to tell you something. It might be the most important thing I tell you." "Are you going to tell me why you knew what happened before anyone else did?" Rakva asked. She knew what happened, or at least more than she should have. The way she'd been shaking, almost manic, and how tightly she'd embraced him without even looking over her shoulder within a minute of the murder. Something happened that hadn't been listed in the scant investigation reports. And she refused to tell him, even though it was his sister who had been murdered. His closest friend was gone. It was his life that had been ruined. He deserved to know. Anguish twisted her features, and she looked away for a moment before meeting his gaze again. "We can argue," Vaine said. "When I tell you to do something, you sometimes push back. And that's fine. But you cannot do that to your father. If he tells you to do something, you do it. You don't ask questions, even if you know he's wrong. Especially if you know he's wrong. Go along with it and pretend to be happy." Rakva's heart sank. That was not what he wanted to hear, and especially not what he expected to hear from Sir Vaine, who quietly stepped around regulation whenever no one was looking. But why warn him about his father? Why tell him something he already knew? "Trust me. Trust me. Trust me," Vaine said. "You remember what my job is?" "To keep me safe," Rakva mumbled. He already knew that. She never talked about anything else. "Yes. And you help me with that by staying out of trouble and keeping your head down. It won't be fun, but you don't deserve it. And you don't deserve it. But you can do it. For you and for Kellis. She looked up at him, and Rakva noticed for the first time how haggard she looked. I just want to know what happened, Rakva said. She could change the subject all she wanted, like she always did. But if there was any time he was going to get the truth, it was now. There were no witnesses, Rakva, Vaine said. Even if you knew who he was, that wouldn't change what happened. We just have to keep going. Why do you know it was a he? Rakva asked. Vaine rubbed her eyes with a single hand. I don't. Just an assumption, I guess. Just trust me when I say dwelling on it won't do you any good. Well, maybe if I knew who it was, I could get revenge. Well, maybe if I knew who it was, I could get revenge. He couldn't bring Zaylin back. But maybe he could make sure her killer saw justice. No one else seemed to care except for his father, who had been even more irritable and had gone on constant rants about how terrible and evil the killer had been. Revenge will only make it worse, Vaine said. The best way we can honor her is by moving forward. You'll be the best crown heir Zavea has ever seen. I'm sure of it. It shouldn't be me, Rakva said. Zaylin was better at this. It should be her. It should be her. I'm not. Vaine softly grasped his hands. Rakva, you're not Zaylin. You're you. You're going to do things differently, and that's going to be okay. How could she say that? No, it's not okay, Rakva said. You don't get it. Zaylin is dead. She's gone and no one cares. You don't know what it's like to lose a sister. You don't know. I'm gonna do that again because I feel like that wasn't my best. How could she say that? No, it's not okay, Rakva said. You don't get it. Zaylin is dead. She's gone, and no one even cares. You don't know what it's like to lose a sister. You don't know. You're right, Vaine said. She sat on the ground, back against the wall. I don't know what it's like to lose a sister, but I do know what it's like to lose a brother. Rakva sat down next to her, though he still fought the anger writhing inside him like an eel. He knew what she was doing. She was trying to calm him down, distract him, with a very rare tidbit about her life before Wokmaw. Fine. He'd let himself be distracted. His name was Sanvo. Vaine said. He was very passionate. He was very passionate about how our family was treated, and people like us, I guess. He wanted things to change. My parents kept telling him the best way to make a difference was to keep his head down and stay out of the way. Out of whose way? Rakva said. He knew she would ignore him, and she did. He didn't listen, of course, Vaine said. When I was still a kid, about your age, an officer knocked my mother down and demanded she give him money. This sort of thing happened all the time, and she was ready to go along with it. But Sanvo was furious and challenged the officer to a duel. I don't understand, Rakva said. Why did the officer attack your mother in the first place? Why did the officer attack your mother in the first place? Why didn't anyone else stop him? Officers were supposed to be noble and protect people. They didn't hurt citizens or rob them. She was a weeper, Vaine said. That's just what happens to weepers. But the point is that what happens to you? Rakva tried to imagine what he'd do if another officer tried to attack Vaine for being a weeper. He'd probably break their legs and bash their face in, and send them to Scorchwing, where they'd get tortured forever. Not usually, Vaine said. But that's not the point. The point is, my brother tried to fight an officer and he lost. Badly. His body... well, you don't need to know about that. She didn't need to sugarcoat it. Rakva's mother had forced him to look at Zaylin's blaster-torn face before the undertakers wrapped it in a veil. That's what you'll look like if you're not good enough to rule, Rakva. My parents didn't take his death well, and they eventually got 3 marks and sent to Draxus, leaving Iris and I alone. Iris blamed our situation on Sanvo and his stupidity. She made it forbidden to speak of him. It was like he never existed, and she still won't ever talk about him. Rakva curled up on his side, placing his head on Vaine's knee. I don't want Zaylin to be forgotten, he whispered. Vaine gently squeezed his shoulder. She won't be. You want to know why? Why? Because you're going to be the Sovereign Crown someday, Rakva. You're going to make the rules. And if you want her to be remembered, then she will. She was right. He would be in charge someday. Like Zaylin. Like his mother. He couldn't do that. He wasn't like them. He wasn't good enough to rule. He'd do it wrong. I won't be good at it, he whispered. I'm just a kid. Hey, look at me. Hey, look at me. Rakva slowly sat up, and Vaine gently cradled his head in her hands. He could feel the rough scars in the webbing between her fingers, and her eyes were weary and solemn. I know how terrifying this is, Vaine whispered. I know what it's like to be put in a position so much bigger than yourself. I know how it feels wrong to not be able to grieve. I know you're strong enough to get through this, and there's no one I'd rather rule Zvea. Understand that I love you, and I'm so proud of you. Rakva felt the tears start to prickle up and turn his vision black, but he didn't turn away. Vaine gently kissed the top of his forehead and smoothed his hair where they would place his crown. I'll be with you every step of the way, Vaine said. You don't have to do this alone. For once, he didn't argue. That is the end of chapter 14. Can we get a round of applause for that chapter? I don't have any hands, but I'm clapping. Yippee. Thank you so much for the hydrates. Thank you to Billingham for the 15 stream streak, and thank you to Watercat for the 15 stream streak. Thank you so much to OmniGuardian, Yuki, Drago, and David for the gifts on TikTok. Thank you and welcome to everybody. Welcome to the stream. Hi Pan, hi Redbeard, hi Textalgia, hello Majestic, hello Uvi, hello Kaz, Feet Liquor, love the username, hello M7 Mad, welcome, Subject 9, welcome, Muzan, hello. Thank you guys so much for joining me today, and I appreciate if you keep liking the stream. If you enjoy it, please hit the follow button, and if you want to stick around for more, whether you're on TikTok or YouTube or Twitch, highly recommend jumping over to Twitch. You get more interactivity. You can exclamation point lights in order to turn on and off my lights. Anybody want to do that? If you are on Twitch or YouTube, you do also get a fish in the background with your name on it. Wow, very fancy, very bougie. You can also exclamation point head pats in order to pat my head. Simple as that. Thank you so much for turning off the lights. Very cash money, I would say. Feet Liquor crazy? Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. But like, I mean, somebody had to get the username. Hi, Bozalex Mango. I like your username too. It is pretty unique. Hello, Silently. Welcome. Vertical stream? Yeah, vertical stream on Twitch is pretty PogChamp. It's rather delightful, I would say. Put a 1 in chat if you are ready to continue with chapter 15. If you are unable to stay for the entire 2-hour live stream, highly recommend catching up with the VODs on YouTube, or in an unknown amount of time, I will have all of these edited and turned into an audiobook that will get posted on YouTube. So if you want to listen to the edited versions of my reading, you can check out my YouTube videos. Omnifighter is ready. Northern Lights is ready. Do we have any TikTok chat? Who is ready? Hold on, what are we reading? Well, by golly, you asked the magic question. You ask the magic question and the bot will answer. We are reading Drown the Stars by Quiana Chase. If you'd be interested in purchasing the book on Twitch, you can !buy book if you are not on Twitch. Check out the link in my bio and there is a link to go purchase the book. Not only at a discount, but it is a signed copy from the author themselves. They are a very wonderful person and I am so grateful and so honored to have this opportunity. Hello Saints, welcome. You have a beautiful voice and a beautiful model. Thank you, Tech. You are very kind. Thank you. All right, it sounds like you guys are ready. Let's continue recording. Part 3. Mother. Chapter 15. 13 years post-Wokmaw. The kid had finally outgrown her. Vaine couldn't get over how odd that felt. She had to look up at him now. According to every other officer in the court, he was well overdue to lead his first campaign. After all, Zaylin had been almost 2 years younger than him when she'd first conquered a new planet for Zavean rule. Vaine had done everything she could to delay it. She didn't want Rakva to be with his father any more than he had to, and no matter what anyone else said, he was a kid. Bright and innocent and big-hearted and absolutely stupid. He wasn't ready to go to war. She wasn't ready for him to go to war.
If you keep fussing, there are going to be even more rumors about you,
Rakva said. They didn't have class at the moment, not officially, but he had still joined her in the instruction room to complete a preliminary assessment, or, in other words, to escape his mother and program a private project even Vaine knew almost nothing about.
I don't care,
Vaine said, tapping her stylus against the desk. Its tempo had slowly increased with the passage of time.
My job is to keep you safe, and if you're in the far reaches of space, you don't even know where I'm going,
Rakva said.
Seriously, calm down. People are starting to think you're trying to turn me into a coward. You're a kid.
Sorry. Give me a moment. I'm getting... Okay.
Thank you for the gifts. Thank you. I don't care,
Vaine said, tapping her stylus against the desk. Its tempo had slowly increased with the passage of time.
My job is to keep you safe, and if you're in the far reaches of space, you don't even know where I'm going,
Rakva said.
Seriously, calm down. People are starting to think you're trying to turn me into a coward. You're a kid,
Vaine said.
You don't belong anywhere near the front lines.
Oh yeah?
And how old were you when you enlisted?
Rakva's tongue poked out from the corner of his lips as he carefully slid a data cube into his ancient biopad. She wasn't sure why. Those weren't compatible with each other without proper adapters.
I was 15, and that was different. Iris and I were starving, and we didn't have a choice. I don't have a choice either,
Rakva said.
I'm the crown heir, Admiral. This is what I have to do.
She hated this. He didn't understand what he was asking for.
Maybe if you got sick, it wouldn't matter. I'm going to get my orders today anyway. Can't you just be happy for me? Can't you just be happy for me? The biopad in front of him lit up and rose to form a thin screen, displaying an image of a rotating spear. He grinned and leaned back, glancing at her. Don't distract me with a very impressive achievement, Vaine said. She stood up and began to pace. This is where you should be, Rakva, performing feats of ingenuity. Performing feats of ingenuity, not putting your life at risk. The kid made a face at her. It gets boring in here. Sure, building stuff is fun and all, but I want to find out how to destroy entire armies, like you. No, you don't, Vaine said. Trust me. And besides, it was a very particular set of circumstances, and not one you could easily replicate. I know. When are you going to tell me how you did it in the first place? Vaine sighed. I don't want to talk about that right now. You never do. Rakva laced his hands behind his head. I think you're just jealous that I get to spend my time with my... I think you're just jealous that I get to spend time with my real parents instead of you. Maybe, Vaine said. She folded her arms and muttered the next words under her breath. Or maybe I wish your father would grow a brainstem. Admiral! Though he tried to sound outraged, there was no denying the grin plastered on the kid's face. I didn't say anything, Vaine said, jabbing a finger at him. Her bioband blipped, indicating a message from the crown. Her stomach performed a feat of acrobatics, and she took a deep breath to compose herself. They were being summoned. The king was ready to issue Rakva's orders. Maybe, if Vaine pretended she hadn't seen it, they'd be forced to delay. Did my orders come through? Rakva asked, getting to his feet. Perhaps. Vaine sighed in defeat. Get your things in order. We'll be meeting the rest of your family there. Rakva removed the data cube from his biopad, shoved it in his pocket, and adjusted his mantle. How did you feel when you first got your orders? Were you nervous? Excited? I threw up, Vaine said. And then I locked myself in a closet, bit down on a rag, and cried because I knew I wasn't coming back. She put a hand on her blaster as she opened the door, doing a basic preliminary check of the hallway. No one there, except for officers she was familiar with. But you did come back, and all that worrying was for nothing, Rakva said. Just like I'm going to come back, and all your fretting will go to waste again. Vaine grunted and bit her tongue. She was pretty sure he would return, but the light in his eyes would be more dim. But the light in his eyes would be a bit more dim, and his step a little more heavy. That's just what war did to people. It wouldn't do any good to argue about it now. Everyone had to grow up eventually, and there was nothing she could do to stop it. They arrived at the crown room before the king and queen, but after Kellis and her caretakers. The girl's eyes lit up, and she tackled Rakva's waist. He pat her head. "Not here," he whispered, glancing at the scowling caretakers. Kellis nodded and pulled away, copying his proud stance. The caretakers didn't look very pleased, but Vaine's glower kept them from reaching for their biobands. She didn't usually enjoy when people were afraid of her, but for them, she made an exception. They knew better than to tattle. The king and queen entered shortly, with Iris and Cadet in tow. The emissary looked like he hadn't slept in days. Oddly enough, Iris appeared equally exhausted. Strange. She'd been spending more time than usual locked in her room.
"Are you excited?"
the king asked, clapping a hand over his son's shoulder. Rakva didn't flinch, but Vaine did, and her fingers flickered over the grip of her blaster. "Yes, Father. I've been looking forward to this day for years.
Me too.
Oh wait, hold on. It's like 7 years later. Well, 6 years later. Close enough. 5.5, whatever. So now she's okay.
Me too.
Okay, close enough. That'll be Kellis's 9-year-old voice? I can't do math.
Me too.
Kellis piped up, eager to be included. The king ignored her.
"I think you'll be very pleased with your assignment,"
the king said. "I took many factors into account." He winked in Vaine's direction, and she blinked, confused. "Some decorum, please," the queen muttered. The king rolled his eyes.
"This is a big occasion phase,"
the king said. "We can afford to celebrate a little." The queen took a deep, centering breath. "It is a big occasion, which means this needs to be treated with even the slightest bit of dignity."
"Huh."
"Ha," the king said with a scoff.
"You have enough dignity for the both of us. Come on, you're more sour than a beziv."
"Let's proceed,"
the queen said through clenched teeth.
"He's serving under your command. Issue the order."
Cadet shared a glance with Iris, communicating with only the circles under his eyes. Iris didn't react, except for the faintest twitch of the corner of her mouth. The king cleared his throat.
"Right."
He snapped his fingers, and Cadet scurried to his side, placing a bioband in his hands.
"Crown Rakva, you have been granted the office of Crown Admiral and all the additional authority the title provides. You will deploy your troops on the 4th day of 10 month, year 211 of the Crown's rule.
That was barely a month away. Vaine tightened her mouth, trying not to display how displeased she was. The one benefit of having so little time to prepare was that he wasn't going to be sent anywhere too dangerous. The king kept reading from the biopad like a child assigned to read in front of a class, not looking up.
You and your troops have been tasked with conquering the planet Wokmaw.
Vaine couldn't breathe. She'd completely forgotten how. Every organ in her body ground to a halt as everyone in the room politely clapped in approval. The caretakers didn't look at Rakva. Instead, they kept their eyes on Vaine, gauging her reaction. Iris was suddenly next to her, jamming an elbow into her ribs. The pain was enough to shake Vaine from her trance enough that she could slap her hands together in a rigid deception of congratulations. Wokmaw. They were sending him to Wokmaw. The king wanted to kill him, and this was his way of doing it. Bile crawled up her throat, threatening to force its way out. I'm going to pause real quick. Do you guys think I should do that again? That's not very audiobook-like of me, you know? I feel like I was saying that with too much emotion. Audiobooks, do they really say that shit with, like, emotion? Do they really be like, oh my god? Or do they be like, Vaine couldn't breathe. She'd completely forgotten how. Every organ in her body ground to a halt as everyone else in the room politely clapped in approval. The caretakers didn't look at Rakva. Instead, they kept their eyes on Vaine, gauging her reaction. Iris was suddenly next to her, jamming an elbow into her ribs. The pain was enough to shake Vaine from her trance enough that she could slap her hands together in a rigid deception of congratulations. Wokmaw. They were sending him to Wokmaw. The king wanted to kill him, and this was his way of doing it. Bile crawled up her throat, threatening to force its way out. Shock plastered itself over Rakva's face, but he nodded and dipped into a salute. I accept this mission, Your Majesty. This had to have been a mistake. The king had read from the wrong file, or decided to say the wrong destination of the mission to annoy his wife. There was no way they'd send a boy to Wokmaw on his first campaign. Don't jump to conclusions, Iris whispered in her ear. He never said if they'd be grounded or not. Vaine nodded and clung to the desperate hope the battle would be spaceborne, where she could easily send him into the antiplane if things got too bad.
You'll be fighting on the surface of the planet as well,
the king said.
Their anti-spacecraft tech is too good. However, I have complete faith in you. You'll lead the charge to victory and give us the first ground victory at Wokmaw in...
He frowned and flickered his hand toward Iris.
Butcher. How long has it been since we hired you?
13 years, Iris said.
13 years!
I said that too femininely. Hi, Ghost. Hi, Kiari.
13 years.
Nope, that was too casual. I gotta get the macho. Lights off. Excuse me, I am so sorry. I was not prepared for that. I was so sorry, I was not prepared. Gonna take a drink of water. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I went to use my words. I'm so sorry. Father Celeste, thank you so much for the 5 stream streak.
13 years. Should be a snap for my son.
The king beamed, and the queen did the exact opposite.
Let's start preparing, shall we?
Vaine's body remained cemented in place as the king threw his arm around Rakva's shoulders and led him out of the room. Kellis scrambled to follow, and her small entourage of caretakers looked up from their biobands to chase after her, leaving only Kadat, the queen, and Iris.
Did you know that's where he was going to send him, Your Majesty?
Kadat asked. No. No, the queen said. She sounded immensely displeased. I did not. Come, emissary. Filled with poise and grace Vaine could only ever dream of possessing, she and Kadat left the room, leaving Vaine and Iris alone. Vaine, I need you to promise me something, Iris said. What? The word came out strangled and hoarse. Iris gripped her shoulders and stared at her dead in the eyes. Let this play its course, and don't you dare do anything stupid. Let this play its course, and don't you dare do anything stupid. Vaine was about to do something stupid. She approached the door to the queen's chambers, then turned away. She circled back, greatly agitating the carpet beneath her feet. This was a bad idea. She knew it was, but it was the only one she had.
Are you going in or not?
Snapped one of the crown guards.
You're allowed, you know. The queen has made it very clear you are permitted within her quarters at your leisure.
Vaine noticed she was biting her knuckle and pulled it away from her mouth. She hadn't realized the queen was still so comfortable with her presence. Neither of them acknowledged the incident from 6 years ago. Whatever test phase had issued, Vaine was pretty sure she'd passed. Still, the kid's life was on the line, she reminded herself. You can deal with his mother for 5 minutes. Vaine took a deep breath and nodded. All right, I'm ready to go in. The doors swung open, and Vaine stepped inside the Sovereign Crown's bedchamber for the first time in years. Faze sat at a table positioned at the foot of her massive bed, reading from a biopad while servers silently bustled around her. I request a private audience with the Queen, Vaine blurted. Faze raised her eyebrows, but nodded. The servers scurried out the room, followed by all the guards until only Cadet remained, glaring suspiciously and tightening the grip on his spear. You too, Faze said, waving at him. Out. Though Cadet didn't look happy about it, he bowed and left with everyone else. I'm very interested. Oop. Sorry, my water made noise. I'm very interested to see what you have to say, the Queen said, setting down a steaming cup of tea. It's been months since you initiated a conversation with me. In fact, if I didn't know any better, I'd say you spent most of your time in my employ, avoiding me. Vaine swallowed and bit the inside of her cheek. Hard. She needed to stay composed. I apologize if that is the impression you received, she said, touching her finger to her forehead in a deep salute. I never wanted to bother you. Faze shrugged and pulled her hair back, tying it in place. I assure you, Admiral, I don't feel very bothered. Now, are you going to tell me why you are here, or am I going to have to invent a reason for you? Vaine took a deep, careful breath. She could do this. Faze was harsh, ruthless, and even cruel. But surely even she didn't want to see another of her children die. I don't believe Crown Rakva is ready for the front lines, and certainly not for battle in Wokmaw. The Queen froze, hands still buried in her hair. That's the reason you came to see me? Yes, Vaine said. And no other? Faye's voice had an edge to it. The only thing I care about is the Crown Heir's safety. Vaine swallowed, under the impression that even though that was the truth and the only correct answer, she had still made a terrible mistake. Of course, Faze said. I don't know what I expected. He isn't ready, Vaine said, trying to keep the panic from her voice. He's not even 17 yet. He has only been the Crown Prince for 6 years, even the most skilled, most experienced generals would consider themselves lucky to walk out of Wokmaw alive, and he's none of those. He's a child with an insane amount of recklessness and overconfidence.
Really? Really?
Faye's hands fell, and she carefully examined the desk in front of her.
And this is all you came here to say?
Yes, Vaine said. As I've told you before, I believe there's nothing else I wanted to discuss. The queen gripped the arms of her chair, and her silence gnawed away at Vaine's soul for an agonizingly long time. She found herself staring at the curvature of Faye's jaw and the shape of her lips, and forced herself to look away.
Tell me, Admiral,
the queen finally said.
Has Rakva ever struggled in his studies?
No, Vaine said. He's done quite well.
And who has his primary tutor been for his entire life?
Vaine didn't like where this was going.
Me, Your Majesty.
The queen steepled her fingers and set her chin on top of them, finally looking up from the table.
Yes, you. I am confident the enormous amount of time you have spent with Crown Rakva was used to transfer the skills we hired you for. Winning a battle at Wokmaw against insurmountable odds.
Vaine wanted to scream. Wokmaw had been an accident. She'd just been trying to escape. Any engineer could have done what she did. Any engineer trapped in that shrinking space with nothing but a blaster and the need to create enough space to push up. Frankly, that was a unique situation and not one that I could likely replicate, Vaine said. I was a soldier with years of experience.
Doesn't he also have years of experience?
The queen rose to her feet.
He should. He better. You've been teaching him everything you know. There is a reason we have kept you in the court for so long. And you better live up to it.
She had taught Rakva everything she knew. He could take apart a blaster and reassemble it within minutes. He could build mortars from scratch. He couldn't do shit with either in the middle of a battle. That doesn't mean he can take on a force that's done nothing but counteract our tech for decades, Vaine said. The queen strode forward. Every step she took made Vaine's heart rate increase.
But you did it with nothing but your sister and a blaster. And I suspect you only needed the blaster.
Please. The queen's voice rose, sharp and piercing.
I'm gonna apologize to your ears.
My son will have a lot more than one blaster, Admiral! And I have perfect confidence in him! Alright, we're gonna do that again. I just had to let it out. My son... No, god dang it. Okay, so I have to adjust my microphone, which is not good. Because I'm gonna yell. Chat. I'm gonna yell. I'm so mad. She's so mad. I'm sorry. Yeah, I went from 20 to 500. 500. Okay, sorry. Had a little bit of southern there. My son will have a lot more than one blaster, Admiral. And I have perfect confidence in him. It's starting to sound like you don't. I dearly hope that isn't the case, because if it is, I'll be forced to reevaluate the place you and your sister have in my court. I may even suspect both of you to be capable of treason.
The Queen stopped 8 inches away from Vaine, looming almost an entire head taller than her.
So, what do you say, Admiral? Do you have confidence in your student?
Vaine averted her gaze.
I do. That is excellent to hear. It appears you are guilty of nothing more than wasting my time.
The Queen returned to her seat, crossing her legs.
And if we are both wrong, and he perishes, well, he has a younger sister, one more valuable than he.
Hello, hi, Prolizel. Hello, clams. Hello.
Welcome. You just missed like an emotional outburst, so good timing. Hello. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining. If you don't know me, my name is Steph. We are currently reading Drown the Stars by Quiana Chase. This is a sci-fi alien soap opera. We've got tension, we've got passion, we've got trauma, we've got violence, we've got emotion, by golly. And we just found out that the main character, who is a weeper, which is the lowest class citizen you can be, who is the tutor of the Crown Prince, now, unfortunately, as a result of the last few chapters, the Crown Heir, she was just informed that the prince is being sent to the place that she somehow survived war, in which she was definitely not supposed to survive that war. And she is tried to convince the queen that this is a death sentence. And surely the queen doesn't want another child dead, right? Wrong. The queen is not happy that Vaine only wanted to talk about the prince and nothing else. Definitely not this almost passionate encounter that they had 6 years ago. But anyhow, welcome. How was your stream, Prella? I want to hear about it. I hope that you had a lovely stream. I hope that everyone is having a lovely day. And I will let you know ahead of time that I am recording this. So as I'm recording, I cannot stop and say hello to everyone. Oh, wait, hold on. I just saw a notification that I had to do something about. I don't know if we have any mods in the Twitch chat, but I hope we can get a shout out in place, please. And if you are interested in solving a puzzle while I am reading, you can say the word puzzle and you'll get the link. It's magic. Tired from writing? I'm glad that you had a wonderful stream. And if you do need to do anything, this is for Perla and for anybody else. If you do need to step away from stream, please feel absolutely welcome. I mean, I love that people listen, but also if you have to step away, please get yourself something to drink, something to eat. Please take care of yourself. If you want to continue listening or you want to catch up, there are the VODs available on YouTube that do not expire. So I am going to get back to reading. What are you recording it for? We are turning this into an audiobook, and these audiobooks will be available on my YouTube channel. So please do subscribe, keep an eye out for those. The most recent audiobook that has been ongoing is The Wonderful Wizard of Oz. So we will actually soon have the full audiobook posted and available, but we are actually working on a work of Pearl Azul, and Mal is currently in the editing stage. So if you are interested in listening to those VODs, those are on YouTube. Unfortunately, one of the VODs is still corrupted. YouTube has, I've escalated it to YouTube support and the internal team. They still haven't figured out what happened, what went wrong. So unfortunately, I am still going to have to re-record an entire chapter that took me an hour and a half. But Mal is in the editing stages, and we are going to be releasing that audiobook soon. So please stay tuned for that. We are going to continue reading, though, all right? Where did my place in this book go? What happened? I don't know why. I don't know what just happened. Oh, I know what happened. Okay. Anyway, we'll get right back into it. Malleable. Yeah. Drink your water. Don't scream, Vaine told herself. Remain calm. Don't give her any additional reason to harm the kid or Iris. Thank you for your insight, Vaine said, dipping into a bow. You are dismissed, the Queen said. Next time, you better have a reason. Nope. Next time, have a better reason to seek an audience with me. One that doesn't involve my son. Vaine couldn't remember the last time she'd been this angry. Afraid? Yes. Devastated? Also yes. But angry? Only Iris got angry. You seem upset, Rakva said, taking careful aim at the target in front of him. Vaine had scrapped almost all of his engineering and software lessons in lieu of combat. She'd gotten better at it since Zaylen's death,
but that wasn't saying much.
I am,
Vaine said, pacing behind him and folding her arms.
I can't believe he's sending you to Wokmaw for your first field assignment. Who looks at a kid and thinks, you know where this child needs to go? A safe place to put him? Wokmaw. What a great idea. I'm not a kid,
Rakva said. He fired 3 blaster bolts into the target, and 2 of them hit. Vaine flinched at every shot. She needed to let him keep practicing, no matter what the sound of blaster fire reminded her of.
You're my kid. He should see you as his kid, too. It wasn't his idea to send me to Wokmaw.
Rakva sent another shot into the target.
It was mine. What?
Vaine's arms snapped to her sides, and she stepped in front of Rakva, pushing down the head of his blaster with her fingers.
You wanted to go to Wokmaw?
Yeah, Rakva said, peering around her at the target. He asked where I wanted to do my first campaign, and I said Wokmaw. He was a little surprised, but I convinced him you'd taught me everything I needed to know.
Why there, of all places? Why there, of all places?
Vaine wanted to grip the kid by his lapels and slam him into the wall. He wouldn't.
Have you learned?
Thank you, random car passing by. I thought I needed more ambiance. Excuse me. Thank you, body, for doing that. Sorry.
Have you learned anything from me? Anything at all?
Not about Wokmaw, Rakva said. He glanced down at her and smirked. I figured that might change if I had to go there. Vaine couldn't speak. She couldn't even move. Rakva might as well have nailed her feet to the ground. So, if you have any advice, I'd appreciate it. Rakva stepped to the side and raised his blaster. No, she couldn't stand to hear it fire. Vaine wrenched the weapon out of his hand and threw it so hard, and threw it as hard as she could at the wall, splitting it from the barrel down to the grip. "What are you doing?" Rakva asked.
How dare you!
Vaine yelled. The kid blinked and took a step back, almost afraid.
How dare you throw your life away just for answers to a stupid question?
I just wanted to know, Rakva said. Is that really so bad?
Rakva, troops don't come back from Wokmaw,
Vaine said.
You did.
Rakva folded his arms and glared, straightening up to emphasize the height he had on her. So you better tell me how.
You're an idiot, Rakva,
Vaine spat.
You're an idiot, Rakva,
Vaine spat. Heat boiled in her chest, sending steam up to her brain.
This has to be the most stupid thing anyone has ever done. Is it stupid to want to know why you're...
Is it stupid to want to know what you're keeping from me?
Rakva yelled.
I have enough people in my life who hoard secrets and hide who they are from me. I just want to know you're not one of them.
Vaine clenched her fists.
It's not my job to tell you everything about me. It's my job to protect you. And I can't do that if you keep being stupid. Is this all I am to you?
Rakva asked.
A job? A job? A job? You're more work than any job.
Vaine sputtered.
You are my life, Crown Rakva. I spend every moment of every day attending to your needs and trying to protect you. Do you have any idea how hard that is? You just want to protect the crown. Is that it?
Rakva said, voice raising even more.
Yes! That's all I ever do!
That's all you've ever done?
For 13 years. Then why is my sister dead?
If Rakva had punched her across the face, it would have hurt less. Vaine clenched her jaw shut and stared at her feet, the breath in her lungs coming through heavy and fast, making the gill slits on her neck flicker. She should have been able to do something. She should have been able. She should have found a way to get the door open. She should have found a way to stop the king the second she heard blaster fire. Maybe, if the other 3 shots hadn't gone off, Zaylin could have made it. Instead, Vaine had run like a coward. All she wanted was to shrink away into nothing. All she wanted was to shrink away into nothing. But she stood her ground, swallowing. I'm sorry, Rakva says. Rakva said, I wasn't thinking. I didn't mean... No. No. Vaine took a deep breath. You want to know what happened at Wokmaw? You want to know what happened at Wokmaw? Rakva fiddled with his mantle and avoided looking at her. We were in a tunnel, Vaine said softly. Iris and I needed a way to get out. We found something that looked like an exit, but it was too tightly secured. We found a control hatch that looked like it was powered with sargonite. So I pulled off the parts of the panel I could and used Iris's zipper to route the seradium from my blaster into the access panel, activating and displacing all the connected sargonite. Rakva looked up at her, confused. She knew, he knew. She knew, he knew how sargonite and seradium reacted. But he also knew the sargonite from a single access panel wouldn't be enough to cause more than a small explosion.
The panel wasn't connected to a door. It was maintenance for a massive artistic installation erected by the Wokmans. By the Wokmans. Hundreds of feet high. Made entirely of sargonite.
Vaine squeezed her eyes shut, as if that could black out the memory.
When I introduced the serradium to the installation, it took out the... She choked on the words. Words she'd never said out loud. Aloud. It took out everything in a 20-mile radius. Enemy troops, friendly troops, civilians, everyone.
She finally met his eyes.
I was in the wrong place at the wrong time. If I could go back and find a different way out, I would have.
Rakva said nothing.
I need to go,
Vaine said.
Train with the guard for the rest of today. Just know that I would have done everything differently.
She removed her blaster from her belt and handed it to him.
I apologize for breaking yours, Crown Rakva.
She offered a crisp salute and left the range, somehow calm. Hopefully, he wouldn't start wondering why she and Iris were in the tunnels. That was the end of chapter 15. Let's see how many pages this next chapter is. So this one starts on accidental nuke. Yeah, surprise. Whoopee. Magic. So this one starts on 256. All right, the next one is Wokmaw. 274. So I don't think we'll be able to get through the next chapter. Oh, am I noticing? Am I noticing an issue? Oh, no, I don't think I am. Okay, that's fine. I don't think we'll be able to get through the next chapter in the next 30 minutes. But what do you guys think? Should we start reading anyway? Do you want more? More read? More read? Yes? Yes, no? More read? Read good. Good read.
Oh no, I'm at the end of my water.
You know what, I prefer doing all chapters all at once. I don't mind if you stop here. We could also do the thing where I do some singing. I know you guys sometimes like the singing. Yeah. Thank you, Niukashu and David and Riley. Thank you for the gifts on TikTok. Thank you so much to all of our fishies watching, no matter whatever platform you're on. I appreciate you. It looks like the puzzle is coming along, so thank you to our puzzlers for puzzling. I wasn't sure if you guys would like what the background is like today, where the background is black. So this is just kind of like a curiosity play. Do you like it when the background is black or blue? I could also put the ocean in the background, or the aquarium. Close enough. I'm glowing. I don't know if I used the blush when I was reading the chapter with Vaine and Phase. I think that I don't know if anyone else picks up on the fact that Phase is very upset that Vaine has not taken up her unspoken offer. The queen wants something. And the queen... Yeah. The queen wants something, and the queen only wants something from Vaine. Hi, Wraith. Yeah, she seems very upset about being turned down. But can you really blame Vaine for thinking that it's all a setup? I don't think she can be at fault. It's not her fault that she thought that she was being set up. She is a weeper. Like, literally everyone is against her.
Thank you guys so much for listening to me read today. And sometimes when we have spare time left over at the end of the live stream, we'll do something. Either continue reading, or perhaps we will do some ASMR as we have done today. Or in some cases, if I'm not feeling very well, we will just end stream. But I hope that today you enjoyed the reading and the little bit of ASMR tapping and the little bit of siren singing as well. If you like more siren singing, I do have a video up on my YouTube channel, and I do plan to get more YouTube videos up on the YouTube channel. So I hope you enjoyed today's stream. If you are watching on Twitch, we are going to raid out. If you are not watching on Twitch, the stream is just going to end for you, but I encourage you to join us on in the Discord server. You'll get notified for whatever you choose to get notified for. And aside from that, if you miss my next stream or you want to catch me on another stream, highly encourage checking out the YouTube channel. The live streams do not expire, so you will be able to watch those streams going all the way back to 2024. Let's see. Oh, I've got just the person for us to raid. All right. If you are watching on YouTube or TikTok, the stream is just going to end. Excuse me. If you are watching on YouTube, or TikTok, the stream is just going to end for you. But again, I encourage you to join us on another platform. This is the part where we say our good nights, our goodbyes, and our see you tomorrows. Flashbang morning. Thank you so much for listening to me read today. I will not be live tomorrow night. However, you will be able to catch me next week. Stay tuned for a schedule drop early next week, either in the Discord or on Twitter. We will be resuming more of Drown the Stars next week, so I encourage you to come back and enjoy some more reading. Until then, you can check out my YouTube videos and join the Discord server. !raid to copy the raid message and paste the raid message in whoever's chat we are attending. Please do be on your best behavior, as you do represent this stream on or off this stream. So, until next time, please drink your water, eat your food, be kind to yourself and others, and have a great night.